Good evening, Patricia and Gavin. I know we talked a little bit about our feelings and how to open up about the car accident that we discussed in the first session. How are you guys feeling about your homework that you had to do last week?
Um, I think it was really tough for me to replay everything that occurred. And then I feel like as a mom, like Gavin should already know that I wouldn't purposely do anything to hurt my child. So for me, it's like I'm hurt from the accident. Um, because I never wanted anything to happen to my son. I wanted to get to our destination and that was it. And for me to have to explain myself to someone who's supposed to be my partner, who's supposed to understand me, and for someone to feel like there was possibly more I could have done. Like if there was more that I could have done, don't you think I would have done that already? So for me, it was just like traumatizing to one, replay the accident. And then I feel like I have to explain myself to someone who already knows or should know, I guess doesn't, um, that I would do anything to bring back my child. I did everything possible to save him during that car accident. And for him to have the audacity to think that I didn't is like, why am I here? What left? What more do we have at this point?
Right. I can totally hear your frustration and your anger in your tone and your facial expressions. They really are very revealing to how you're feeling at this point in time. Gavin, how do you respond to that? How she's feeling? Do you see anywhere that you can help her see that you're not angry?
For me, it's like my head is telling me that my wife would never put our child in harm's way, but my heart is so heavy that I'm trying to make sense of everything. And so the easiest way that I can do that is to place blame on somebody. And who else can I place the blame on but the person who was responsible for driving my child safely? Like, I know, of course, that she would never want to hurt our child, but why isn't he here then? Like, why did this? I can't come to terms with it yet.
I can see that there's a bit of confusion. And that night that it happened, did we discuss it together, or did we go our separate ways and keep it bottled up?
I don't feel like I should have to express it. It should be common sense that, the accident happened, keyword there, accident, and that I did everything I could. For me to have to explain something, it's like I'm guilty of something, and I'm not guilty of anything. So what do I got to explain to him at this point? What don't he get?
And honestly, I didn't want to hear anything. It's hard to even hear it now. So that night of the accident, I couldn't sit with her and hear what happened or what didn't happen, because I'm just thinking about my son is gone. Like, that's all that my mind can keep going to. My son is gone, she was driving the car. My son is gone, she was driving the car. It's like A plus B equals C in my mind. And I'm still trying to find a way to forgive, because whenever I even come close to that, I'm like, I want to just forgive her and my son come back. That's what I want to happen. And that's not happening. So I'm kind of just, like you said, I am confused.
it's like a bit of depression from both of you, and from Gavin's standpoint is in I can see the anxiety that you have about the situation. It's a bit of attachment disruption between both of you because you do not want to talk to one another, but the feelings of the accident has really hurt both of you. Is there any way that, Patricia, you feeling that night, how were you feeling? Were you tired?
I was tired. I was tired and I felt alone. The fact that he wanted an explanation of what happened, and I had to repeat, myself, not even just that night, but multiple times of like what occurred, is like I was on trial. Like I did something wrong and I had to explain myself to the world. Like don't you think I have enough guilt? Like I have to wake up every day and know that I'm the one that drove the car that killed my son. But to have to explain that every day to everybody, like it's tiring. It's draining. Like, don't you think, like, and I'm not saying to him, but everyone, don't you think I walk around with enough guilt? Like enough guilt. But I have to explain myself on top of that. I'm tired of explaining. I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired. So I'd rather just not talk.
Gavin, have you tried to talk to your wife about the accident and make her feel remorse?
I mean, like, I hear what she's saying as far as her being tired of explaining and everything. And I have tried to talk to her because I feel like she does owe me that. She owes me that explanation. I feel like that's kind of the position that she's in. And I know that it's hard. And I feel bad now that I'm saying this and I hear everything that she's saying. Like, I haven't really taken the time to put myself in her shoes because the grief has just been overwhelming for me. But now that I'm hearing her say all this, I definitely have put her in positions where I probably made her feel like, you owe me this explanation. You have to keep explaining. And I could only imagine that, yeah, she does probably feel remorseful. I know that she loved our son and she didn't, want to get into an accident at all. So I probably have put her in those positions many times, actually.
Right. The interaction patterns I see between you guys have been not really much talking. It's just being there. Y'all are just content with the accident and not really expressing how each other feels about emotions about losing your child. So, as we talked about before, why you guys are here, you were looking to get a divorce, but you're trying to come to therapy and try to work on things. The night that Gavin burned the pictures and was under the influence, Patricia, how did that make you feel?
I feel like everything that I have left of my child, I felt like I have nothing. It was like losing him all over again. I'm never gonna get my kid back. My kid is never coming back. And the last bit of memories that I have of him are gone. So I have nothing. Thank you. Not one thing.
Gavin, how did that make you feel?
I mean, in the moment, I was intoxicated, so I was not thinking clearly. And, prior to that, though, before I decided to drink, all that I could think about is, my son isn't here. How could this be? My son isn't here. How could this be? So I can only assume that when I was drunk, I wanted to just erase everything, the pain, the good memories, the bad memories. I just wanted it all to go away because it hurt too bad. I don't know how to cope with this type of pain. So I did something so stupid and so unchangeable. I mean, like my wife said, we already lost our son and now the pictures of him are gone. So it's like I was just trying to erase everything, but now it's like we lost him for a second time, and that one's on me. So I can see how she would look at me like, almost like I look at her, like I took him from her. I can see that.
Right. And you were just trying to make her feel a little bit of what you were feeling. That's what I'm understanding from what you just said. And within the couples retreat, I know Diana referred you guys to me for therapy. At the couples retreat, Patricia, I know everyone was on the beach talking about their romance and why did they get married? What made you come to saying you're getting a divorce?
Because what more do we have? That's what more do we have left? We have nothing. We don't talk. We don't get along. I think at this point we're just both in a place of I wouldn't say hatred, but emptiness. I think we've both done things to each other, trying to get some type of better understanding. And in the end, it hasn't brought us that. So at what point do you say enough's enough? When do you say it's over? You know, it's at this point, it's toxic.
So what I'm hearing is, I'm sorry, Gavin. Did you say something?
No, I just didn't really like the word toxic being used for our marriage or for this situation because we're both hurting. We lost so much. So I don't think it's toxic. I think it's grief. I think it's pain. I think it's all of that stuff. Not necessarily a toxic relationship. It's just the road that we're going down. I know it's not healthy, but it's because of what we're going through.
Right. Patricia, I saw in your body language that you were over it, like you're frustrated, like every time you tried to talk, it just didn't go the way it needed to go. It always seemed like a blame game instead of an understanding game. I see a bit of attachment injury here. Rebuilding the attachment will start with love. So I'm going to take you guys back to where it all began. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I mean, I'll go. I mean, of course, I fell in love with her for a reason. You know, I was very proud of the family that we built and the love that we shared. You know, she's a strong, beautiful woman and she's always supported me. So there's that, you know, I think prior to this, I know I was happy. I can't speak for her, but you know, I was happy prior to this. Yeah.
It seems like a little security was there for you at the beginning. And when you lost your child, it seems like it all went down the drain. The base of your relationship was not there. Patricia, do you feel the same way?
It's so long ago that it seems so far. I think when we first met, our connection was very well. I think a lot of our friends look up to our relationship, but I think that's because we were able to hide so much for them for but so long. I think that's why I had that outburst and I said what I said. But I do believe that, we did have good points. I just feel like right now we've been in a really crazy state where it just doesn't get better, or it hasn't gotten better. But we're able to leave the house and put on these roles and stuff like that. But the last couple of months, it's just, we're not there. We're not those people. It's hard to put on that facade anymore.
Right. I can feel, and what I'm hearing is you feel that Gavin is not responding to you. You feel that he doesn't need you. Like, when you need him, he's not there for you. And as a psychologist and a professor, you tend to bottle things up.
I think when, this is your profession, when it comes to yourself, you just put your feelings to the side and you just keep moving. I think Gavin is dealing with things the way he's been dealing with it, and now we all have to suffer the consequences because of how he's dealt with it. Just like me, I have to deal with the consequences of losing my child and being the driver.
Right. Gavin, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I feel like it's a little unfair. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's a little unfair. I would definitely agree with what she said about the relationship, that we're just in this crazy time that we cannot seem to get out of. And of course, when we're out in the world, we're not, sobbing or anything like that. We are pulling it together the best we can. And then we are strangers with each other almost, because we're putting on this facade to the world. I'll agree with that. I don't think it's fair for her to say that I have to deal with the consequences of how I'm coping with this, because I'm coping with this the best that I know how to do. I would have never thought I'd be in this situation. So if I'm doing this wrong, then please, somebody tell me how to do it right, because to lose my son and my wife be the one driving the car, and I'm here looking like, how is this gonna work? How are we gonna get past this? Like, any coping that I thought I had, it's out the window. It's not working for me. So I need help then.
Well, burning the pictures is a start. That's where that's not what you do to deal with that.
That's true. I made a mistake there. I mean, I said it so many times. I made a big mistake there. I can't take that back. I can't be punished forever. I can't take that back.
Oh, you said the key word. You can't be punished forever. Neither can I.
I like this line of communication that we have going here. I like how we're responsive and we're engaged emotionally, and our feelings are taken around. For your homework, I would like both of you to reconnect emotionally in this relationship. Be dependent on both of each other. Since your attachment bond is no longer here, which was your child, let's try to make amends of that and work on communicating in a greater source. Can we work on that?
I'll work on it. I don't know how willing she is, but I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
It takes time. Step by step. Understanding each other's feelings. Patricia, I know it's hard to come out and tell your feelings because of your profession. Gavin, you're just going to have to give her a little time to open up, day by day, taking it step by step.
I'll try this week to work on that you assigned.
Yeah, me too. And I'll give her time.
There we go. Thank you guys for being here today. I will see you next week, and hopefully we'll be grounded and ready to open up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome.